right, we're in. We are in. Like Flynn, we have a man. We've been hitting home, and we don't stay the same here. When you say, "What do you mean by that?" We don't stay the same here. We're in this dive since we got a Gnosticism on our reality that we live in. That some things are just starting to be undeniable as we wake up, and in a place of revelation, the revealing of that which is hidden. Man, it makes sense if you're tuned in, turned on, tuned in, and your frequency is humming, and you can see, hear, perceive, and I'm not talking physical eyes, I'm not talking physical ears, but a more in-depth aspect of yourself from within that would be connected to what we call revelation knowledge, or we call here the gnosis activation. Yeah, we can see things clearly. We also see that we're dealing with certain situations that not everybody observes from the same spaces or degrees, even when they start to wake up or have transformation starts from the dark night of the soul awakening, right? You having that dark night of the soul when you find out nothing seems right or legit, or something's happening here, and what it is, I don't exactly know. But nothing seems right or seems like I thought it was. These things kind of follow the awakening. Like it's called the dark night of the soul, which we call in some occultic circles, alchemy, that you have to go through the dark night for the awakening to wake up, because you really find out that the aspect of what you thought is not the aspect of what's been fed to you, lied to you, given you, taught to you, or any of these things that have. For us in tune and in check, it's obvious. Some of the very easy scriptures from the West, and even in the New Testament, in the canonized version, because, we got on the Gnostic versions, that stuff was humming. I definitely dug it, and we will get back to it in the future, in the near future. But there's spaces and takes I'm taking from that I'm connecting with other things up to where we are, for me to make sense of it, to show connection of things, how things work. So I'm getting on this. If we're really living in the simulation, right? And we're living in a program, and if this is a place that we have been stuck in samsara, trapped souls in a matrix, a simulation, if you may will, what are the cogs in the wheels? What is creating that? And I started looking at like more ancient buildings than some of the newer stuff, right? Where these would actually be connected to frequencies and vibrations for a purpose that would cause, like temples, cathedrals, structures, pyramids, structures, ancient structures built a certain way that absorb energy, hold energy, and may be producing energy using the frequencies and vibrations from even possible planets. That are they planets, or are they holograms? Are they just energy portals that holograms that is being used to part of the structure of the trap? And this is what I've been thinking, because I do know about the cathedrals and temples and different buildings built in the past compared to about newer stuff, how they will hold frequency and vibrations, how they will, why were they using cathedrals to worship, to extract energetic fields from you as you give away your worship, your warship, to the warship, to the warriors. As we just covered, this God that we're dealing with is, especially recent Western, last millennium plus, if not two, as being a war dog. Come on now, war god. I just put dog and God, turn it over, and how in the scriptures, the script, things are presented a certain way unless you know how to decode. Symbols you can give up harmony, or can give you distortion, right? Frequency can be harmony and unity and oneness, or distortion and division. Take the snowflake, put the sound with it. What does it do? What's there? And then in science, we're talking now also very strongly about how being the observer will change the energy field. and how with all these structures and all the programs and being trapped, there's still an energetic field that's like this behind me, a spiritual library of energy and information that you can tap into because your power is still within you. That's not totally hijacked. Everything outside of you is, and the next level is that what they're planning with the little AI. You know what I mean if you can decode shit stuff in that in your head. Very interesting. I just heard even a story today that I didn't know of that Joe Rogan had said was on the show was about when Tesla died, they hurried up into where he lived to get all his information about all his energy, all his stuff that he had created and put together and that he put in 7 boxes. And the one who did it was an ancestor of one Donald J. Trump. And then I thought about the book that I just came across 2-3 months ago, way back in December, actually January, you're looking at 5 months ago, about the last American president. And it was created. This book was created in 1895. Trump, what are we dealing with these ancients? Are they just time travelers from ancient times into another bodies? I'm talking all the way to Egypt. Many people I know, Sanchez does. I kind of conform to it. That's where they started learning how to hijack lifetimes and be professional reincarnator, which our first term I heard professional reincarnation was through Seven Bomar, right? And then I started thinking about that. Learning how to hijack Egypt was almost like cheating death to hijack to put yourself in future so you keep your bloodlines in power. This is becoming more and more clear as I've been studying the last months, but actually the last weeks even more. Things I haven't touched, I haven't even talked about yet. So I'm going into something today that goes with the technology of AI. Because when we say, oh, they got AI now, it ain't new, man. Sorry. I actually retired almost a year in July, end of July of 24. So we're looking at 10 plus months, 10 plus. So I said, they told me, hey, you can go make some extra money if you want to make some, you can make a certain amount, right? They give you the okay to do it. Yeah, they rule us. But anyways, so I start going out and I said, hey, my son, other people were telling me about it. I got a younger fellow I coach football with and said, hey, coach, son said, hey, blah. This is what I do. It works. I hustle at it and yada, yada, yada. I can make this much, that much. And talking about it, you should do it. If you can make some extra money, coach, you can do it. You'd be good at it. I used to be a football, basketball coach. And then I started looking at it and I was like, okay, I can do that. Go deliver food, get paid, get tips. So I do that here every so often to make extra money with the inflation. I do that now. Like when you see me ask for money that I'm asked for when I put on the end of my video, hey, can you give to that? It's to give to keep this channel going, to pay for this system I must pay for monthly. And why I'm saying that is everything's in inflation and expensive. Yeah, right? You all know that. It's happening to you too with the outside system of the changes they're creating and doing. But this isn't about what's happened the last 4 years, which is actually more than that. This is something I go back to the technology. There's something that I keep seeing and is in my mind, and it's called Saturn. And we are going to share some stuff about this, and I'm going to put up with a theory that I'm becoming more and more comfortable with this and the system. I will be going in and out of this. Why I will be doing that is because that as long as I guess I go, if this moves it like this, I'm good this way. Okay. So Saturn, right? Saturn. So we're going to go into religion quickly. I got a couple of religion, then we're going to go into some other stuff. The term Teflon refers to a small black leather boxes worn by an observant Jewish men during a weekday morning prayers. These boxes contain scrolls with passages of the Torah and are worn on the arm and head, reminding individuals of God's great commandments, often called phylacteries. Teflon are Jewish ritual practices, not material like Teflon. I'm going to show you some images of this. You may have seen this, right? Notice what this looks like. It's a cube. And you go, what, D-Boy, what's this religion and what's this prayer got to do with Saturn? We're going to get into that now. Saturn is about the cube. The ancients worshipped Saturn, acknowledged Saturn. If not worship it, it definitely acknowledged Saturn for what it was. Saturn's planet. The word Saturday is Saturn Day. That was called in the Jewish religion, and it goes way before this. This goes into, and we're going to touch on some of it, was called the Day of Rest. Saturn Day. Saturday. Saturn. Saturn. It is in honor of the planet Saturn, the cube, which you see here. The cube. So when you kind of see this, let's see if there's any more to the story that they have. No, they don't really have any more. They're not going to go in depth in here, just telling you about it. But they make it as Teflon, no big deal. But when I see it, I go, that's a cube on the forehead, like kissing the Wailing Wall, the cube. And you go, okay, the cube is connected to Saturn. Why? We will touch on that too. Why is this so ancient? It's very ancient. This connection to Saturn. Saturn with the, definitely with the rings around it, right? Father Time. So this is the rings of Saturn. And think about this. What was the movie Lord of the Rings? The movies made, J.R. Tolkien, books, turns into movies. The Lord of the Rings is Saturn, the ring to rule them all. That's what it's about, right? We got wedding rings. We got earrings. That's all connected to Saturn. You were indoctrinated when you got out of your womb, whether you wanted to find out before or after. You were this thing of Saturn has been around. It's been the connection. It's been what people said. It's been produced for millenniums, not just this religion that we just showed here, but I'm going to show you how in depth this is into even Western aspects and also others. I got some stuff to show, and this connects to the theory to me that I'm going to produce, and I'm going to connect it because, if you really watch me and put my videos together, I always try to make a video connect to the next links into truth. Like the last two, I went into the war god, and then does the war god require sacrifice? And we know what sacrifice, without me saying the sacrifice I'm trying to hit on, right? So when I really look at that, this too will do this. So let me share. We're going to go to something else. I'm showing you this is just not new. All right. We got another religion that's Abrahamic. I'm going west first. This is way before these. These just enveloped and took the energies of the past. All of this that's from Rome to Israel, from other societies that they learned. They just absorb the reality. And that's what that video said when Bible stories, the absorption of this. The absorption of this. So here we got the cube, right? The cube. Let's see if this one pops up. Does it pop up? Or do I need to go here to get it to pop up? Maybe not. Maybe I need to get me to go out because it's sure not popping the way I wanted it to pop. But there's something you can see here. Let me see if I can get in there and just make it bigger. No, it's not letting me make it bigger here. That's weird. In the images. But if you see here, notice the cube in the middle, right? The cube is higher than the outskirts. The outskirts are like the rings. These folks in Muslim at Mecca have the cube, this worship of the cube, which is Saturn again. Oh, they have it all in common. They're not differing us. They can give us all the hijinks they want, but us knowers know. They're definitely on a program that aligns as a unity, even though they're always at war, right? So we see this, right? We see this, the black cube, but notice this, the people sitting around it, outer, like Saturn, and then you got one ring, the ring around it, the ring around it. Like I said, Lord of the Rings of Saturn. This is what they're emulating right here in this ritual. And this is another thing we have to understand. Everything is done by ritual. That was everything I was going over the war god with, and then the sacrificing and everything they do in between, everything that we see in religion, that it's given to the people exoteric, but there's an esoteric ritual the planners and those who control this reality and those who control what they do use. I see this, and I didn't see it like this until now. When I looked at it, I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. The people are around it like benches, right? Zoom, 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 as you go like something, and you go outer and the outer ring and out, like dropping the pebble, the ripple effect. And I go, that's the Lord of the Rings. That's the rings of Saturn right there before you. Aha, I know what I did wrong. I bet you it's right here. Let's look at this. It just hit me. I bet this will pop up now. Danny's learning, you folks. So look, exactly what I was saying. I wanted to get a bigger look, right? The cube. And there's something I need to bring out about this cube. There's a hexagon on the north side of Saturn that they found, they said 1960 or something. NASA, yeah, I don't buy much of what NASA says. And if it's even this could be just an energetic, to me, even a hologram. I'm just going to be honest. A plane, like this place to me is a plane. But anyways, when I start seeing this, I see in the layered images of the rings ritual. They're calling down that energetic field of Saturn is what they're doing. You go, whoa, whoa, whoa. How did that happen? How that happened was through their ritual. As you can see, this is deeply embedded in the first and second. We use the two Judaic, well, it kind of is. But anyways, Judaic religions, didn't we? Think about this. We're good in time. I will share another thing with you. I definitely will share another one with you. But there's something I want to say before I share. Kicked me out of my background again. There's something I'm not doing right, because to me it shouldn't. But anyways, think about this. You say, what did it kick? So we definitely see Muslims, the black cube, Mecca, their holy place in their religion, and the cube right in the center, and then they around the center sit and act as if they're the rings of Saturn. Whether the people, the masses, know it or not, the ones who do it, no. You hear what I said? The ones who know it, no. Whether the masses know it, probably not. Programming's real. Masses just follow. They don't think we see this being able to be programmed is a heavy reality as we wake up. So we got that. This is something that we need to read here. And this is something I know. So in legal astrology, and this is coming from them, which some of us may know better. In legal, Saturn is associated with courts, judges, legal system. It is as representing the law, discipline, structure of judicial process in some systems. Saturn's considered the ruling planet of the 10th house and associated with career authority, including judges, legal professionals. Council of Europe has a working group focused on judicial time management, which uses the acronym Saturn. But this is unrelated to the planet astrology, which I don't buy. It's Google, and they'll feed you crap if they want to, or just their programs, right? I'm just going to be honest. We know that. So when you see the judge wearing black, sitting on a high throne, likened to the popes of Rome or a king, which this is all based, it's just telling you it's authority, it's including judges, kings, and all of this structure, right? Saturn. You see it. That's why you go to court, and this is even deeper, which we have not talking about. I'm going to add it. And one day, if you don't know, I can talk about it. That's why when you go to court, you go to court, you walk through, you get to gates. To go approach the judge, there's a gate. It's called the watery gate because this system's all based on maritime law of the water. They're called the watery gates. That's a whole different going into the moon, the money, and this is connected to Saturn too, right? With this, because the moon and Saturn connection would go into the money, the moon, and also with the law and judges, right? So you see here, it says it's connected to Saturn's connected to the judicial process. Saturn's considered the ruling planet, right? We're read down a little farther, law, discipline, judges, the legal systems connected to it. And then we go down farther. Karma and justice. Saturn is also linked to karma and the idea of justice. Believe that Saturn's transit or placement can reveal karmic lessons and challenges related to legal systems. Dog crap. But anyways, real law, but not this law that's been adopted that control this reality. Why? Google again with its half-tail stuff. But why I'm saying this, now we're going to go to especially you Christians. New Testament. Who did Jesus say woe unto? Judges, lawyers. Did he or did he not? He said, woe unto you. Judges and lawyers, meaning the Saturn system. You guys abused it. You've misused it. And it's, what is it doing? I believe this is kind of what goes into this part down here. When you go into karma and justice, is it's connected to law. It's connected to justice. But who's the law and power and who's the justice? Is there a system of karma, samsara, which you've heard me mention here, that's keeping us as individuals trapped in this system? Notice the rings of Saturn, right? And then I was looking at this being technology in a simulation aspect of seeing the things repeat. And if you don't believe it, it's okay, but have an open mind, because I didn't. What if you'd have told me this 3 years ago, I probably would have. But I've had an open mind for a while, though. I might have said I don't get that, but I'll definitely file it and be open. Some people aren't there yet. I've been there for, I was woken up in 1993, so we're looking at 32 years ago, half my life. Actually a little bit over half of it now. Is there a connection to locking it up, the system of Saturn, with its power? Because remember, and we're going to go to something else, challenge difficulties. Let's go back in here because I got another page to share. Where are we at? We're at okay. We're okay with time. Very much okay with time. There's another thing that I had connected to the. Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is. Yes. So there's a god called Cronos. Who's Saturn? Cronos is law and nature. Time, called Father Time, right? Also eats his children. Not saying that they don't do this. That's scary, right? It also couldn't be that everything in time, that you realize time devours everything. And we've even called it in the spiritual community, time is an illusion, right? That's what Jesus said. Woe unto you, judges, you lawyers, you tax collectors, and you religious bunch. Woe unto you. Woe unto you. What's he saying? This is the Saturn foundation that I'm calling game on right now, calling you out. Remember, we've established, and I had established coming out of traditional canonized Christianity and seeing Gnosticism differently. But I always knew when you took the Old Testament God and you took Jesus, it ain't the same. Ain't the same cat, right? Not at all. It's like this Old Testament God. Well, they go, well, he changed. He changed from that to this, from love and harmony and oneness, from the one that says, I do things for my create evil and good for my own purpose. If you don't obey me, I'll have you eating your own children. If you don't obey me, I'll make it somebody else destroy you. And if you don't do exactly what I said, I'll kill you. Come on now. That ain't the same cat and bloodline at all. Let's be honest. You'll be like you're reared. If you want to go family-wise, you ain't same rearing in this one. That's why they would say this is the demiurge. This is the one that thinks he is but isn't. The blind one. The lack of wisdom one. Thinks he is but really isn't. And is jealous, not just of the higher realms, he's jealous of you. And they're jealous of you because if you woke up, you can't hang. If we came into waking at unity, can't hang. But when you're in this aspect, and this is what I'm going to get into, watch this. Just watch this. Romans revered Saturn, associated with, of course, agriculture, times, and the cult was central to Roman calendar, particularly the festival Saturnalia. While some speculate there is a direct to secret societies, there's no strong evidence of specific secret society, especially explicitly dedicated to Saturn's worship with a strong connection to the cult. However, themes of secrecy and ritual often associated with are present. Do you see what I just read? This is the English language, how it never tells you the truth and can half-ass you all the time. He just said there's no evidence of it, and then showed you all the evidence of it in the next sentence, in the next paragraph. But the themes of it and the rituals are there, but it's not no sign of it. I mean, that's the program that we're in when we start realizing from the littlest parts where we're at in this world. Google. I mean, telling me it's not, but then telling me there's signs of it and actually it's connection to it, however. And then try to ham hock, oh, I see through this. Do you see through that? Are your eyes open to see through that? That they're even Google's trying to run game, but actually showing ignorance because this is a ham hock. When you say one thing and do another, that's yada bail. The system, the demiurge, that's exactly the function of how he functions. I'm giving you truth, but I'm not really. Yeah, but no. Never being clear in the language, and this is also the English language being what it is, right? If you haven't watched it, some of you new people, go watch some of my videos on English language being what's the name of the English language is a equivocal language, and what equivocal language is and what equivocal language is. I present the screen and show you where it's like you can read it and see it and go, oh, okay. And even will tell you it's used by the higher status of people, controlled elite, to keep you down by the language because you will always curse yourself. In the song Stairway to Seven, it says sometimes words have two meanings. That would be an equivocal language. Meaning is nothing's ever clear. It's like me saying, it even uses this example is perfect here when you read it. No, it's not a secret society, never proved, but actually the fruits of it have showed it is. But you told me no from the beginning, meaning you're not clear. You're half-tailing it. You're not saying. It would be like if I said, hey, Danny, you want to go to the movie, have dinner tonight with me? Maybe. The reality, I didn't give you a clear answer. I could say, I'll think about it, but I do have something else going tonight. I have something else going. I have another event. Or you could say, let me think about it. I'm tired and I'll give you a call a little later and I might go. That's more clear, but to say, maybe, that's not an answer. That's this. What you just read in Google, just calling out that which we decode. I mean, it's even there. You can even see it. So Saturn, let's not go. Did they worship? Yeah, Saturnalia. They have this practice even called Saturnalia. And let me go back and I wonder if I can stop sharing there. If I go back here and then stop sharing. But if I go back, they have this thing called Saturnalia, which was really Christmas, what we call now Christmas week, which is not really Christmas. It's going through the aspect of the winter solstice, which really the holiday is, or that time is. It's a changing into winter. That's why everything, and even the story of the Christ and the crucifixion is all connected to winter when you break down the sun 3 days, which is all science. This is actually how the sun doesn't move for 3 days. It's dead in a tomb, people would say. But anyways, it's not about that. What I was seeing, and this is what I've been seeing, and take it as you will. I'm not saying to adopt it if it resonates with you, because I'm still in the forming of it in my mind, almost like I'll say it's my theory almost. Others do feel it. I somewhat am leaning more and more to it, that everything in this system that was created in the material world and the illusions, Maya, which comes from Vedic, which is way before the Western Christianity, Buddhism, too, the illusion of Maya, meaning the stage, the world's a stage, right? It's an illusion. It's not really facts. It's really light deceiving you and everything that's connected deceiving you in the program. So if we have the rings of Saturn, and Saturn's called Father Time, because one of the biggest illusions of the time, Cronos eats his children, governs kings, rulers, and law systems that Really? And then the Western Jesus comes later and calls them all out, really telling you, whoa, meaning you guys are faking the funk and ain't the real ones. And I've showed you even in the canonized version where Jesus is always telling the Jews, you have your father, the devil. And really what he's saying deeper, I'm calling you out, and your father's not my father. We're not the same thing. You guys fake the funk. And then you have the religious sect connected to the law sect is control systems. So my thing with Saturn, since this is ancient technology at its best, ancient, nothing's new under the sun here, folks. Because if it's a simulation, that makes sense. I even go through this with my mind when I really see what's happening in the world, and I go, how did this actually happen when a country is like China is not, and Asia's three main countries, Japan, China, and Korea, are in depopulation mode faster than all the other countries. Not that the West isn't, it is too, unless it's a program, because that's supposed to be communist, we're supposed to be Western, but it's happening. And then we have scripture to say, likened into the days of Noah and Jonah, so is it in the sons of God. And that's a program. So nobody learns history and learns from it, makes changes. It just runs like a freaking program, and the same things come that's in this program. Jonah and Noah is drinking, giving in marriage, effeminate, and on and on and on and on and on. These things that you'll see that will be signs and symbols to you for the last days. What if part of this rings of Saturn is like a clicking of a door, or clicking of locking us in a chamber almost, that you need a password, or you need the, what's it called? You need to crack a safe. You need to know the numbers. There's a word I'm missing there. To open the safe, you have to have the password, but you need to know what I can't think of the word. But these rings in Saturn represents a shutdown of locking in the simulation, and locking in because it's father time. It's Cronos. And Cronos ate his children when they came out of the womb. That's a story. If Cronos, father time, we know in deeper spiritual, conductive alchemy, hermeticism, time is an illusion. We're seeing in quantum physics, they're telling you the same thing. Future, past, present, and now are now. Your future is your past is your future. When I see a scripture that says, like into the days of Noah, like into the days of the Son of Man, I said, that's the same thing. And I just started looking, and I was like, why is a communist country like China and the West, we're supposed to be so different, and everybody around the world is in depopulation mode? And this has been being said 20 years ago by the leaders, by the Magi, Billy Gates, these people who are connected to it. Come on now. West Coast Uncensored, we uncensored. So I'm just seeing this. What if this is all connected, these planets? Because Mars is a war god. We just talked about that. Father time. Then you have Saturday after Friday. Friday is Venus. It's Lucifer. And the misconceptions of Lucifer that they put on us is so backwards. But people believe it. Lucifer's Satan. But he's not. From the antiquity. God, Danny, you can't say that word. I said it 2 days ago on a video. Now I can't even say it. But really. And now we look at it and go, oh my God. Lucifer really isn't that. Lucifer breaks you out of chains. Lucifer, change, feminine aspect, not male. Saturn, next day is law and order. After this day, let your hair down. Get some freedom, because Saturn energy actually, in the reality of it, not by their hijacked words and what they use it for, is great for breaking you out of cycles and traditions. It's a jailbreak. It will break you out of shit. I don't cuss much here, but that one I drop. And it's just S-H-I-T. Crap. Crap on a cracker. Think about that. And how every single one of these planets goes around the week, but there's no word for Earth during the week. It's minimized, almost like it is. Is it the place where we'll hold hostages? I'm not saying this is a new doctrine or an old, because other people have this. They're saying it is. I'm seeing aspects of it, but next video, I'm going to have a follow-up short video about this. And then I'm going to say some things of how we still have our power and freedom within and who we are within. But you got to know your knowledge to know how to deal with this. in the higher realms, and you can't play yourself. Don't let your ego play you. But we'll talk about it on the next one. You guys have a great day.